everyone out there. Welcome to Solve It Out. This is Annie here, and today's project, as you can see, we are going to display the most streamed Spotify songs 2024. The main goal of this project is to show this data in a tabular format and search a song applying multiple filters. As you can see, there are almost 29 columns here, and in each column, there is a filter option. So to search a particular data, we can actually add many filters together and search a particular data very easily. So our main goal is to add our filter functions and also how I'm displaying this data of the Spotify songs, like from the .csv file to in tabular data in Next.js, how I'm doing that. So that will be the whole goal of our project. Now let me show you a quick demo. 10 songs are in display and 29 columns is total there. If I click on the next, you can see the songs changed and pages 2 showing here. Also, we can click on the previous to come back and check our previous pages. Now here, like in the artist, I want to write BTS. You can see 4 different album names and track names are showing here. But I want to find a particular track or album name. So here I want to write as an album name. As I write the butter, you can see the 2 that conceals the album name butter is now shown on display. Both our artist filter and the album name filter is working fine. Now in the track, I want to search only for the butter. Now you can see all the filters are working equally and we can find the particular song name here, album name. We can check the rank here, the track score here, Spotify streams here, that number of streams it happened, Spotify playlist count, and many more columns are present here. Their views, their YouTube likes. So are you guys excited to do this in Next.js? So let's jump on to the code. Now to start with the dataset, first you have to go to the Kaggle and there you can find different datasets present there. I have used the most streamed Spotify songs 2024 dataset here. You can find their different parameters. So just click on this download and it will get downloaded the .csv file. I have already done it. So let's go on to the code. Now I have already installed Next.js 14 and along with that the TypeScript and Tailwind CSS. Here in the folder structure, I have already added some folder, like in the app. I have removed the page.tsx code, the initial code, and I have just written a main tag which has a background black and a height full and min height string first, and called here a tabular data component, like it's coming from the components. If you go here in the component, I have 3 files here. In each file, it's just the initial code. So one is tabular data that I'm calling in page.tsx, and another is columns, another is button. We'll definitely write the code in front of you all so that you can exactly understand which part I'm going through. And this much only changes that I have done till now. If I go and click npm run dev, this is our tabular data coming right here. Also, I need to show you all that inside the public folder, this is my .csv file. As you can see, the most streamed Spotify songs .csv. This is my whole CSV file. So when you will download it, just put it inside your public folder so that it's easy to fetch when you're creating the API. First, we are going to create the API. Then I'm going to write these components. So at first, inside the app, let's create the API folder. Inside API, there will be another folder named songs, and then we'll create route.ts. Here at first, I'm going to create a get route. This will be of course async by nature. Here we'll write a try catch block. First, we'll write the catch block. Like in catch, we are taking error of type any and we are returning the response.json, the error message and the status. For this type error, let's import from next server. Now the type error is gone. Inside the try block, first we'll find the path of the .csv file. In constant file path, I am taking path.resolve and searching for the public directory, and this is my file name. So this path is an internal function of Node.js. Once we find out the file path, we are going to check if this file actually exists. So we'll put a check here that if fs.existsync file path, then we are going to return the next response.json and pass the error file not found with a status of 404. Now, this fs is the file system module that we have in JavaScript. So we'll checking that if the file path is present, that is not present, then we are going to return this error message. If it is present, then we'll read the file using the read file sync method present in fs. We are passing the file path and the UTF-8. This UTF-8 is an encoding option, like we are telling the Node.js to encode this file as the UTF string. As we got the file now, we need to parse our .csv file. So to parse our file, I want to install a npm library. Going to use here papa parse to parse our .csv file. We'll take another try catch block here. First, we'll import the papa here. You can see we need to also install the TypeScript. That's why it's showing the error. Let's quickly install that. The TypeScript error is gone. Now you can see inside the try block, I am inside the result, like I've taken the result as a let constant and let variable exactly. Now inside results, I am parsing using the papa.parse, and here I am passing my file that I am taking from here, and I've given the parameters as the header true and dynamic typing true. Now here, before returning the try block, I want to show you something. So at first I'm going to write the catch block here. You see, this is our catch block. That is, if there is any error, we are passing the error in the next response.json and our status will be 500. Now, I want to show you that exactly how many data we are getting from our Spotify. So we'll create a constant here, limited results, and we'll get here results.data and we'll add here the console.log. Now, as I do the console.log, you can see here in the terminal that all our tracks are coming. Now, there are a lot of number of tracks. Like if we are actually not using any database here, so if you try to like put it in Vercel or in Netlify, it may cause you problem because there are so many data present here. So here I want to, for the convenience when you are putting it in the Vercel or Netlify, so I want to slice the data here. If here you are using something like the database like MongoDB or SQL, then you can definitely keep the exact amount of data. But here I want to slice it down. Slice it down up to the top 1000 datas, and here we'll be passing the response. So if our data is received successfully, then we are passing the limited result, the data and the status of 200. So our API build is ready. As you can see, we read the data from CSV file, we parse it, and we are sending the response as the JSON data to our state variable. Now, after doing the API, we'll directly go to the tabular data and fetch the API here using the hooks. First, we'll quickly write the new states. We'll import it here. And you can see I have taken a use state of data and set data and a loading state. At top, you must write the use client to avoid any error. Next, we'll write a use effect hook. Inside, we'll write a async function with a constant fetch data name, and this will be our async function where we are going to fetch our API. So using a try catch block, inside the try block, I'm taking the response with the await here and I'm fetching the API. As it is a get API, so we don't have to mention like what is the method. Next, we'll get the JSON data and pass it inside the set data dot limited results. As we are storing the object and the name of limited results from the API, we are passing the data here. And next, we'll write the catch block. If any error, we'll console.log the error. Now here you can see for the loading state, I have taken the initial state to be true. Like when the data is fetching, I want it to show the loading till then. After it is fetched, the data will come into view. Now to change this loading state to false, I'll write here the finally block so that after the successful reading of the API or showing the console.log error, it will show the loading false. Now here, I'm going to call the function. Our dependency array will be empty so that the use effect, the data fetching is done for single time. Here we'll write the console.log data, and if I click, sorry, there is a mistake here in the API. You can see it will be songs. That's a mistake there. You can see here 100 data is already showing here and 900 more items are there. So as we sliced our data here from 0 to 1000, so only 1000 datas now are getting shown and rest of the datas are sliced. So our data is fetched correctly. Now we are going to display it in our table. At first I'm going to write our heading here. So just printing this and I just pasted it here. Let me show you all the code. This is the musical note icon. Here I'm going to add another npm or the icons that will be npm I am using hero icons here, hero icon / react. So this musical note icon is from the hero icons. At first I'm creating a div inside. You can see inside a div there is another div, and inside that here in this div I'm taking a display of flex, justify between, item center and width full, very common CSS. Now inside the label, I've taken a label here. First, there is a div where I have written the flex row from the MD. There is like this responsive designs here. So justify start when it is from medium as justify center, X center, X left from the medium, and then flex call item center with a gap 4, text size is 3xl with a margin of 14 up and down, and this is the padding. So from here I have taken this the musical icon, note icon, and you have written here the most streamed Spotify songs and then the tabular data. Now let's see how it's exactly looking. You can see this is our icon, this is our writing, and this is our tabular data. For different colors and give it a like good UI look, I have used the different sections. Next, we'll quickly display our data. We'll take a loading state here that if it is a loading we are showing, then we'll show an loading GIF that I already have, else we are going to show the table data. If I go to, I already have this GIF here, so I'm going to show it here. Now if it is loading, then inside a div where there is like padding 20, display grid, place item center, I'm taking my image GIF and giving a width and height of 80. Okay, and if the loading is not present, then we are going to call our columns component and we are going to pass the data. So there is no data present right now in columns, that's why it's showing the type error. Here for the class name I have given the classes like grid, place item centers with a max width and a margin auto with full padding left and right of 5, that is almost 20 pixel, and from MD there will be no. Let's save this because we completed our tabular data here. In columns we are going to create the table, so let's move to our column. On defining the data here, this tabular red error will be gone. As I take here the props data, you can see the tabular red error is now gone. Now here inside columns, first I'll add the filter logic and then we'll add the pagination logic. At first I'm going to take all the use states. And see, have taken the current page, set current page, and the filters. Okay. And this is our like how many datas I want to show it in one page. So that's why I have taken rows per page. So 10 data, up to 10 data I want to show. Now to create the headers from our data, JSON data, I want to go through the object.keys, that the 0th data which we have in our every JSON field, that is like the track, the album name. So these are the 0th data that we have. So we are going to the keys and we are taking the 0th data as our headers. Next, to add filters, constant filter data, where I am filtering using the filter JavaScript function. I am doing data.filter here, taking the argument as row with given the type script any here, and I'm returning that going through each headers actually, like headers.every I'm taking here and then destructuring the header. I'm going through that if filters not filters.header is there, then we should return true. If there is no filter, then it will return true, meaning the row passes this filter criteria and proceeds to the next header. On return, we are showing that if there is a filter for the current header, this line checks if the string representation of the row value for the current header includes the filter criteria converted to lowercase. If it does, then it returns true, meaning the row passes this filter criteria. Filter logic is completed here. Next, I'll write the pagination logic. But first, we'll find the index of the last row. So to find that, we need the current page into rows per page. Current page is our, you can see the state, and rows per page is the constant value we have taken. After this, we'll take the index of first row. Here on the first row, we are taking index of last row minus rows per page. Now to find the current data, we are using the filter data.slice and passing the index of first row and the first row plus rows per page. That is, we are slicing the first row index value plus adding the rows per page, so that much like the 10 datas can only be shown here per page. Now we need to calculate the total number of pages, so we are using the mat.sale function, filter data.length by rows per page. Then to apply the filter function for each column, I want to write a handle filter change function where I'm taking the header and the value here, like for each column. Then on the set filters, I am passing a copy of the first filters there and then the value. Then the set current page will turn to 1. This is the resetting to first page when filters change. So our functions are ready. Let's call it in the table. Leaving the first div here, I'm taking a div where I want to specify a specific class name, that is overflow x auto. Like we want to do a horizontal scrolling to show our multiple columns, as it is not possible to show in one screen. So horizontal scrolling is must. Then we define the table here. I've taken padding and the width full. Next we'll define the t head, that is for the header. I've taken a normal border and a border gray color. I have to define the t row. Inside t row, we are going to destructure our headers. Now I'm passing the headers.map function, taken a th tag. You can see this is our th tag inside the headers. Like I've taken the class name as border right with a padding at top 5, then a border gray. Text is green for this one. Text is small and a padding also with full. The key I have given the header. Inside th, want to define the name of the header, so level with the text base uppercase and font medium. Then we'll add an input field for the filter. This is our input field. You can see it's type text. Placeholder, like we will be having the header name and the class name you can see here. The font medium with auto, border, margin, background transparent, border gray, rounded, padding and outline none. For the value, I am passing the filters header, passing the like going through the array. If you go, we are passing the header name here, and on change, I'm calling the handle filter change function and passing the header and our target value. So as our header is done, let's go and check it on our local host whether our headers are showing or not. You can see here we having the headers right here. It's showing our start of the JSON file and we have our filter inputs here. Next, let's display the data. Next, for the T body, that is the table body, we are taking the current data here. Current data.map, we are destructuring the element and the index. Current data is actually coming from here. We are doing the filter data slice for index first row and the adding the rows per page. We are destructuring the current data. First, we'll take a T row. We are passing the key index here. And inside that, we'll map the headers. You can see we are mapping the headers here. And inside the TD HTML tag, we are giving the class name here for a cell to look a little better, passing the key. And in the main value, we are showing that if element header is null, then we need to show that there is no data, else we'll show the element header value. And let's check. You can see here, our data is now fetching correctly right here. You can see the first 10 data that we have. Our filter is also working. You can see as I type Miley here, the two artists, two songs came up here. And if I type like flowers here, you can see all our filter fields are working correctly. You can see the details. Now we are going to add the pagination buttons so that it can be more UI friendly for the user. To add the buttons, I'm going to the button.tsx component. Button component is going to have a lot number of props. So I'm removing this and pasting this one. You can see it's react.functional component props, and this will be our props like rows per page, set current page normal, total pages and total columns. Now at first I'm going to create an interface here as we are using TypeScript. This is our interface where rows per page, of course, number, set current page is number, returning void type, current page, total pages, total columns, or our number type. Okay. Now, as this is done, so we'll save it and first call the button component in our column. Then we'll define our component. Now, we are going to paste our button component one at the top before starting our table. You can see we are passing all the values here and one at the down, so that on top and on bottom we can actually view the paginations. We'll save and return back to our button component. At first, want to let user know that how many pages or how many columns currently they are viewing. So you can see I have taken a flex call gap for a flex row from small and justify between item center with full, adding x5 as the basic div CSS. Now inside that I have taken another div where I want to show the rows per page data showing in number of columns. So this is just for UI friendly. You can see user friendly. Next, inside another div, this is the main div that I'm taking, where I'm going to put the next, previous, and number of pages we are moving all the data here. That's why I have taken the display flex with justify end and item center. First, we are taking the button. Here, this is the class name. That is, text is green with text excess and uppercase, border gray, background transparent, rounded, paddings, display flex, justify center, and item center. Inside button will take a label and a hero icon. That is, chevron double left icon. So our previous button is added. Next, we'll add the number of pages. We'll add a span tag, and here we'll show our current page out of our total pages. Next, we'll add another similar type of button for our next with the same class name. Just the label and the icon is different. This is the right icon. Now we have added the button. Inside the button component, we are going to add two functionalities. That is, on click, when we are clicking the previous page, so if whatever is the current page, there will be -1, and if we reach num1, that is the last page, then we'll calculate that if it is math.max from the current page and the last value. So only if it is more than the last value or the max value here 1, then we can only deduct it, otherwise not. So that is our last limit. Similarly, for the next, on click for next, where we are taking the mat.minimum, that is the current page plus 1, and the last value is our total page. To put more specification on this, we are going to apply disable. So for previous, we can say we want to do disable if current page is equal to 1, and for next, when current page is equal to the total pages. So this will put more specification that we do not want to cross our limit and overflow. So as our button component is completed, also we have called our button component inside the columns. Now let us go and check. We have saved it. Now you can see that all our datas are coming here. We have our previous and next buttons here. Like if I click on next, it's changing the value here also, and it's showing page 2 out of 100. And if we click again, you can see the values are changing and we are moving forward. And for the previous, if we click, you can see we cannot go beyond 1, and here we cannot go out of 100. So our disable functions is working. On top and on bottom we have buttons here, and we can scroll through the columns right here. We can find a song also. Now let us do the filter for the last time. I want to search standing next to you, and just clicking stan, you can see the song standing next to you has come. The album Golden with the artist Jungkook is here. You can see our horizontal scrolling is working. The filter is working perfectly fine. This is how you can actually parse a .csv file and show it in your web development projects. Hope you like today's project. Do comment down below if you have any doubt or want to give any remark. The GitHub link of this code will be present on the description. Till then, this is Annie signing off. Let's meet in another new and interesting project.